Welcome back, guys, to another episode and update from UC Organic Gardening. As you can see, as always, phenomenal growth. Things are looking good. Today is July the 1st, and we're going to talk about some of the changes that have occurred in the garden. So what we've done is we removed the peas, and of course the potatoes are gone. The temperature got fairly high and consistent, above 80s, and from my understanding, when that happens, the peas stop producing. They begin to turn brown and wilt, and that's exactly what happened. So it was time for them to go. Now what I did, I left the root in the ground, and I just cut right at the base. And pull the peas completely up in one single row. As you can see also over here with the lettuce, completely gone. It continued to bolt flowers and seeds. And I did a taste test on the lettuce, guys. And when I did that, it was very, very bitter. So that was the true indicator that it was time for that lettuce to come up. As you can see, I've got a clean bed here, and I've got a clean bed here. So now what I'll probably end up putting back in here is beans, some type of bush bean. We don't want anything trellising at this particular point. It just takes up too much space. And it requires, construction for the trellis. So as you can see, the beets are still there. They're getting very thin. I'm picking beets probably once a week, and preparing dinner, eating the beetroot as well as the beet green. Phenomenal taste. Remember, butter and garlic. Oh man, I love it. Carrots, very nice. Now I did pull some carrots out and I roasted those. Nice growth, phenomenal growth on those carrots from the last time. So they're definitely ready for harvesting. It's just a matter of, if that's what you want to eat for that day. Now remember, the whole idea of me doing this is to control the type of food that I eat and to know what's actually in the food itself. So this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. As you can see here, I've got asparagus. Now this is the second year for the asparagus. So they're not very big, but definitely I've got asparagus, guys. So I'll be harvesting that as they come up, and definitely will be cooking those for dinner as well. The butternut squash, absolutely phenomenal. As you can see, the growth has already reached the top of the trellis. Performing very nicely. I expect a lot of butternut squash this year. The strawberries, doing very well. I've definitely picked strawberries. Again, this is the Everbearing, so they don't produce a lot of strawberries at one time. They produce maybe a handful at once. That's enough for me. Well, that's enough for someone that wants to eat strawberries in the family. Check out the watermelon, guys. Look at that. Nice. Look at that large watermelon right there. Now that is a big watermelon. It is growing very nicely. Here's another one. We've got a watermelon there. I've got a small watermelon there. Can't tell if that one's been pollinated or not. I've got a nice one here. Now, see that blemish? When that watermelon was small, there was a bug or something that took a chunk out of it. But that's not going to hurt the watermelon. It's going to continue to grow, and it's going to do just fine. It'll produce a large watermelon. Here's one here. I've got a small one there. So I've got watermelon everywhere. They're all over the place. The patch is doing very well. So I expect plenty of watermelon this year. Now, my apple tree had to put fencing around the apple tree. Apparently, the squirrels were getting in and enjoying the apples. And not taking in consideration that me and my family wanted apples. So I had to put that in order to protect it. I've got about 8 apples on here. There were about 12. And once I noticed it, I just put the fencing around. And that should hold them off. If I need to, I'll just put netting over. Now, remember in previous videos, we talked about the watermelon and all the different melons coming up the trellis. That trellis is about 6 feet tall. So it's plenty of space for all the melons to grow up on. But check it out. Plenty of growth going on here. Not only that, what is that? That, my friends, is a Blacktail Mountain watermelon. There's another one there, a small one. There's another one right there. And there's another one over here somewhere I saw. So we've got watermelon growing, being produced. Now these, I believe that's it right there. These watermelon are being pollinated by, there's another one, the bees. There's another one there. So we've got plenty of watermelon that are growing on these vines. I didn't even know they were actually on here. But the bees seem to be doing their job. As you can see, the melons are definitely on the trellis. We've got lots of flowers, blossoms. We've got lots of baby fruit on here. Look at there. Even on the far end, the melons are definitely doing what they're supposed to do. So as you can see, we've got lots and lots of growth. Lots and lots of growth, guys. Now let's go over and take a look at our tomatoes. See what we got going on. You can see our onions are doing very well. They're developing nice bulbs. Now our tomatoes seem to be doing very well as well. We've got tomatoes on all the vines. Lots and lots of tomatoes. These are the beefsteak tomatoes. Lots and lots of tomatoes everywhere. And in the middle right here, we've got cherry tomatoes. We've got cherry tomatoes all over the place. Beautiful clusters. We're getting lots and lots of phenomenal growth. I mean, just prolific. These guys are just constantly producing tomatoes. Look at that growth. Absolutely wonderful tomatoes everywhere. Now remember, I've got about 8 feet of 3 different types of tomatoes. You've got the beefsteak, the cherry tomatoes, and then we've got the Brandywine on the far end. But let me show you something that is magnificent. Look at it. We've got ripening tomatoes, guys. Beautiful. Now, today is a very humid day. And I can tell you, this is something that we've been fighting a lot in Missouri this spring. So I constantly have to come out and monitor the tomatoes and make sure that we don't get a wide spread of leaf spotting, the rotting, the mold, the fungus. So trying to keep that under control is very, very difficult when you've got so much moisture and rain constantly in the atmosphere. But we seem to be tackling it. As you can see, those stalks are very clean. You know, it's one of those things that you just have to constantly monitor at all times. Look at how weird that tomato looks. But we're going to enjoy it just the same. And here's the largest one that I have. That is a nice sized tomato. So all in all, we've got plenty of height. That tomato vine is about 5 feet tall. I'm going to have to tip it. I'm going to assume that because of the height that it is, that this is an indeterminate tomato. It does not have a specific height in which it grows and stops. It just goes on and on and on. Now that's not going to work because this trellis doesn't go very high. So I'm going to tip it and hopefully we'll get a lot of lateral growth as opposed to vertical height. Next up, let's take a look at the Brachius. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. We're talking broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and this is Swiss chard. As you can see, it's growing phenomenally well. Started off slow, but has really blossomed into nice leafy green. Now, as you can see how dark it is, this is very, very close family of beets. So I'm definitely going to enjoy those. Again, garlic and butter, saute. Love it. Beans are starting to produce. We've got flowers. This is a bush bean. This, I don't know what this is. This is a weed or some type of, well, let's pull it out of here. It's in the wrong spot. It's not working. Let's get that out of there. Now we've got peppers. Now these peppers I did not plant from seed. These are jalapenos, and those are bell peppers. Now, I bought those from one of the box stores and out of the organic section. I wanted to see how they grew in the garden with the rest of the vegetables that we have. As you can see, we've got zucchini. The plants are definitely beginning to sprawl, and they're producing lots and lots of flowers. Phenomenal growth. Again, Beautiful growth everywhere. Absolutely amazing. Now my cucumbers are definitely starting to go up the stream, heading for the top for the wire. I do believe we have some cucumbers on here. Yeah, we've got cucumbers, guys. Look at that. That cucumber is on the move. That was definitely pollinated because it is growing. We've got plenty of flowers on there. The beans, butter beans, didn't grow very tall, but they've got flowers and they've got actual beans on them. So we've got butter beans. The okra holding its own. It's now starting to take off. It's getting warmer. They're gonna have a lot of fighting to do in between that corn and those beans. But the okra will actually get taller than both of them. So I'm not worried about it. If I have to, we'll move some things around. Corn is about 5 feet tall. Definitely up there. Looking good. And these are pinto beans. Now, I didn't know that those pinto beans were actually underneath. There is a lot of pinto beans under there. It's almost harvest time for those. Lots and lots of pinto beans, guys. They're everywhere, all over the place. Even up top on the vines here, we've got pinto beans. Look at it. And it's still producing flowers. We've even got string beans, look. Nice. So they definitely hide. You have to look real close. Flowers everywhere. Now, as you can see here, we've got the bugs. The June bugs are out. Japanese beetles. But that's okay. This is an organic garden. We'll let those guys do what they do. As long as they leave some for me, everything will be just fine. So just a quick update to show you the growth, the progress of the organic garden, St. Louis, Missouri. Urban backyard. Until the next video, guys, happy gardening.